I heard that guy grab it.
Nothing like one hitting you right at the boot.
I guarantee you, it wasn't much line out, was there?
No. Nice little fish.
That's my buddy Dennis TJ back there in the back of the boat, Bass Pro Elite fisherman, and we're fishing in South Louisiana, just out of Lake Charles, Gras Savon. We've got about 1,000 acres, close to 1,000 acres of this marsh that there used to be an old flooded rice paddy. We'll talk about this a little bit more later, and it's just fantastic bass habitat, full of crawfish, full of shad, full of brim, full of crappie, most importantly, full of bass. That a better one?
It's not a bad one.
That is not a bad one at all.
Nice little fish.
Not a bad
We're going to get
at
some
all.
big ones here in a minute.
Come here, baby. Come here, baby doll.
Is it a good one?
Nah, he's just a nice one.
That's a nice one.
He's a nice one. Let me get over in those weeds. Let me get over in those weeds. Boy, he ate that bait, didn't he? Look how far that thing's down. Come here, baby. Come here, baby. Look how far that bait's gone. I mean, it is gone city. That bait I'm fishing with is that Yum Pulse. It's a new swim bait, and it's absolutely an incredible swim bait. Look how far he had that thing down. I mean, he had it way down there. You are a baby doll. And I've got it rigged. I've got it rigged on a Lucky Strike scrounger head. You see this scrounger head? That's a jig head. It comes with a little snap on it to tie to, and it's got this little piece of plastic over here that causes it to wobble. So that's creating a wobble, and this has got a lot of action on it on its own. But when you put that wobble on there, you got a lot more action than what you have in a normal situation. Really, really good way to fish a swim bait. We've got those. They make those scroungers on just regular jigs, skirted jigs. So you can fish a swim jig, a bare jig like this, or a skirted jig. Flipping it, fishing it just like a regular jig, or using it as we're using it here today as a swim bait. That sun pops out, that temperature changed 10 degrees, didn't it?
It's feeling nice now.
I didn't think I'd need a coat at all this morning, but it's pretty chilly when we put in. Come here, baby doll. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. That's what I'm talking about, Jimmy.
Oh, got a double.
You got one back there too? Get a little area right there.
Oh, he's just a little one. He's just bad.
He was a mean one though,
He just
wasn't
likes to fight.
Come
There,
on, hook
choke.
on those little scroungers. Oh, that's nice. Nice fish. I'm getting a lot of sugar this morning. I got to get my coat off.
They are choking that bait
That
this
Ranger
morning.
coat felt pretty good this morning. I mean, they are not.
Oh,
Fourth entrance.
God.
I'll tell you what, this levee right here is pretty nice to get behind where that wind's blowing.
They are choking that bait.
They are getting it, aren't they? You notice that Dennis has got his on just a regular swim bait head. There are so many different ways you can fish a swim bait nowadays, and you can just you can put them on just a lot of different things. They kind of become popular with the invention of an Alabama rig, and of course when fishing the big tournaments like the Bass Elite and the FLW Tournament Tour, they won't allow us to use those, but we're still using the swim baits to catch fish in a lot of different ways. We're just catching them with one swim bait on instead of 5. But you can use that swim bait a lot of different ways. You can put it behind jigs, you can put it behind spinner baits, you can fish it on top of the water like a buzz bait. You can use it on a scrounger head like I've got this one on right now. You can put it on a regular swim bait, hard bait swim bait head.
I just lost
put it on
mine.
A spin jig
That was
head,
a good
a
one.
lot of different techniques that
he'll
really,
hit
really
again.
works.
Uh-oh, he's gonna make me a liar. Oh, he's got me in the bushes, but he ain't.
Oh, you're supposed to throw in the water. That was up on
Hey,
that island.
that's not the same one that hit me the first time.
Well, you know, a lot of them are on a bed. That one had his bed up on that island.
Right.
Yeah, it's not the one. Oh, I lost mine. Not the one that hit you the first time. Yeah, right.
That's my story, and I'm
Yeah,
sticking with
I'm
it.
sticking to it. Yeah, that's not the one that hit me the first time. He was a lot bigger than that. God, you see that guy come up and get that. He got that swim bait right off the top of the water. I mean, right off of the top of the water. Like buzzing a spinnerbait up on top. I mean, he come up there and ate that baby. I mean, come up there and ate it up. Yeah, baby.
Oh, no.
What I'm talking about right here. You got one right there, too. Now, that's a male bass, and here's what I recommend on a male bass. Don't kiss them.
All right, it's your turn now. I don't want to go out of turn. Looks like this one started feeding up on crawfish again.
Crawfish are just now coming out good, aren't they?
Yeah, you know, crawfish season here in South Louisiana really is just kicking off, and you know, that's real important. You know, when you're selecting your baits, a lot of times when they start really keying on crawfish, a lot of times you have to switch over to plastics.
It's really important, particularly color-wise. One of the things that I recommend where you got anytime you go fishing, of course, if crawfish are out, if they're available, the bass are going to eat them. That's just the way it works. But one of the things I recommend is when you put your boat in the water at the boat ramp, go down there and turn over a rock or two, and find you a crawfish laying under it, and they'll be usually real small ones under a rock. But and look at the colors and see if they got some blue in them, some green in them, orange, red. See if they're pretty pale, pretty white looking, brown looking. Crawfish really have a lot of colors, and they change colors as they go out throughout the year. So you can look at those crawfish and look at their color and kind of determine what you want on your bait. And if you can't find any crawfish, you got some red, got some blue on your bait, pretty good shape. And a little fluorescent yellow, chartreuse.
Oh, he come off. I hate when they come off.
Yeah,
Jim.
I hate it, especially it might be the last bite you get today.
Well, that was a small one. It's one thing about here, if one comes off, another one, another one
out
get
there
on
ready
it.
to bite, isn't there?
I might catch one here in a minute. There he is.
By golly, if you're going to keep throwing out there and getting bites, I think I ought to throw out there in that spot.
I was wondering why you hadn't thrown yet.
I'm just being nice.
Jump one more time.
Throw out there in that spot myself. I think that's the same fish bit it 3 times.
I don't know. I'm fixing to throw out there one more time and see. Yeah, we talked about that earlier. You know, I've had situations where I've caught 100 without moving the boat.
Just power pole down, huh?
That's crazy.
Oh, there's one. Come here, buddy.
Good fish.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Come here, baby. Now, wow, look at that guy go. He wants to be a TV star or something, don't he? Look how he ate that bait. Will you look at that? I mean, that little. He had a buddy in there too, didn't he? Oh, look at that. Very, very nice. These baits are so deep. God. He got the thing all the way down in his throat. That's a nice one right there too. You bet. Come here, baby doll. Let me get that bait out of you. Oh, there it is. Man, I'm telling you, those are nice fish right there. I mean, beauties. Gros Savon is not just a fishing place. It's got everything in the world. And Dennis, these guys are actually one of your sponsors on the professional bass fishing trail, and you guide down here. You guide down here when you're not fishing tournaments, right?
Right. I joined teams with Gros Savon about 2 years ago, and you know they had this piece of heaven here that they really didn't know how to get out to the public. And what we did on tour was, you know, we really got the word out and started getting a lot of fishing shows and got you down here and really got the word out. So, you know, now everybody is going to get to enjoy a little piece of this heaven.
And a fish on it. There's a bed there and a fish on it. He couldn't stay off it. He couldn't stay off it. False, could he? We ate it too.
Nice one.
nice fish. Good way to break a rod, Jimmy. Good way to break a rod. But I don't have to bend over. That's nice. That's about the biggest one today, maybe. Came right off that bed right there. If you'll look right there on that levee, you can see that little white spot right there. That's exactly where that fish was. Golly. Talk about one on the rod tip. How about that? That's how I've let out about a foot of line. I had out an inch of line, maybe an inch of line. Good thing he didn't weigh 8 pounds. Did you see that? I like had a heart attack. Maybe that's why they call it a pulse. What did the same thing to you?
I just had one hit me.
Maybe that's why they call that swim bait the pulse. If you take a look at this scrounger head, it's a kind of just a simple little deal. What they've got a little slot up here, and this is just a little plastic bill is what it is, and the water hits it and it causes that bait to wobble. And they've got them made in regular jigs, you know, where you can just regular jig fish, putting a jig and chunk on. But they're just fantastic on swim baits because they add the extra action to it. And this little pulse swim bait has got tremendous. You see, I bit that off. I bit about a 3/4 inch off of it. Still catching fish great on it. Golly, that was under my rod tip.
I'll keep you on your toes.
Oh, there he is. Oh, that's a pretty fish there. That's a pretty one there. Thought he was bigger than that when he's running up through those lily pads. Pretty nice size. Pretty nice size. Looky there, I got the barb stuck in my fingernail. Will you look at that? See what you caused? See what you caused? The point is not in there, but I got the barb. I got the barb stuck in my fingernail, and I can't get it out. I never ever had that happen before.
Ah, quick release.
I don't know what the heck I'm gonna do about this.
It's all the way in there?
Well, yeah, the barb is stuck in there. I don't know what to do. I can't.
You're gonna have to do the line trick.
Well, I can't because it won't go. I can't go any further with the. I need to go. The barb is this way. I need to go that way. I can't get it out. It's underneath the barb is underneath my finger.
Your fingernail?
Yeah, the barb is underneath my fingernail.
Oh no.
I got it. Golly. That barb was down underneath that. I stuck my thumb down in there because it had him so deep. You see that down there where it's bleeding? I had it so deep I stuck my thumb down, and when I got it, it pressed the hook was pressed against that, and the barb went down below that fingernail.
Yes, he is. I don't know who got who. Get him over here. He's looking for that grass.
He found the grass, didn't he?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
That's a good one.
Yes, sir. Very good one.
Nice Gros Savon bass.
Gros Savon. That stands for big pasture, doesn't it?
Big pasture.
That's what I thought. Big pasture. Gros Savon. And that's a perfect name for it because that's kind of what it is, a big pasture covered in water.
That's it. It was
with muchos pescas.
You can look them up at grossavon.com online, and you know, they have, like I said, unlimited packages for corporate levels and personal levels. So great fish.
Today Dennis and I was talking about looking at crawfish, and when you launch your boat, turn some rocks over around the boat ramp and look under the rocks and see what the crawfish look like. See if there's some red in them, some orange, some blue. See if they're kind of washed out sand looking color, if they're dark brown. And when we talk about that, we talk about matching our baits to it. Well, one of the ways that we do that in soft plastic is we dip our baits, or we use paint pens to paint our baits up and make them change color a little bit. Now, exactly how do we do that? Well, one of the ways, obviously, is just using regular spike it, dip and dye. Every pro fisherman that I know carries this in their boat. I carry mine around in a little Ziploc bag, because you definitely don't want this thing leaking on your carpet. And all you need to do, of course, is dip your tails down in there. And here's what we're doing on this. Like, this is a little Christy crawl right here. Now here's what I would do. You see these little flappers on the end of this? All I would do is just dip those little flappers right there in chartreuse or an orange, and that's all I would put on there. Not very much. You don't need very much. It's a small amount. Now here's a little Christy critter, and what I would do here is I would dip, again, the little tail end of that, or I come up here on this guy, and what you want to do, this is naturally attached to the body. I break those off and then dip those ends. Now, here's something else. When you're out fishing, I like to do this at home or do it in the motel room. I'll put down a newspaper or something, dip a package of them, and lay them down. But here's something that I use all the time out in the boat. These are dip and dye pins, and you really need to carry them. This is, obviously, you look at the tip of the color, it's a garlic. It's real easy to take this out and simply hold that and just mark the end of that a little bit with that chartreuse. Very, very simple, very easy, dries instantly. Put a little chartreuse on that. Now here's another thing that they've done. They've come out with, they put different colors on both ends of the pins. So this particular pin right here, and this has got, where this pin right here has got a nice flat tip on it. This pin does also, but it's got chartreuse on one end and it's got red on the other. So with that one pin, I can mark my craws up, I can mark my critters up, mark anything. Actually, you want to paint a little bit of a plastic bait, put some red stripes on a blade, you take and do that real easy. Need to make sure you got these in your boat. Change the color of those soft plastic to the color of the crawfish that you find under those rocks.